Welcome to Sith Talk, brought to you by Gattacar and Lanyard, bringing you news from Star Wars The Old Republic and beyond. Join us now as we explore the universe and take down the Republic in a galaxy not so far away. Hey guys, welcome to another great episode of my wife yawning in Sith Talk.
Shall we?
This week. One of those great things about recording in my living room, my wife rolls over and suddenly she's part of the podcast again, other than her Galactic Librarian. This week we have a special guest at the return of White Sword.
Mm-hmm. Hello, yay!
Hello.
And of course, more news on what we've dealt with 1.3 and our week. We've got some developer questions this week, some of which were a little bit questionable, but they are interesting nonetheless. We did have a minor bit of patch notes this week, and I went and checked on the dev tracker to check on a few issues, so we'll bring that up in the news. It's been another great week of podcasting for us, another exciting week on Facebook. We gave away the audiobook, and our winner actually chose to go with the The Hunger Games, which I know was a book that White Sword was into. I think you saw the movie as well.
Yep.
So, she's really enjoying that. She was grateful that we were able to do that. And I was happy to show our fans who were questioning whether or not when we said giveaway, we actually meant it, that we do actually mean it. We want to be able to make sure our fans know that we are looking out for them just as much as they are for us. So definitely want to let you guys know that. It's been a busy week. As far as housekeeping goes, we got a couple of emails, and I did tell Lanyard that I wanted to throw a little extra special piece in here this week. I've got my LFG heroes, I'm going to refer to them as, instead of Pug Problems, which I think LFG heroes and Pug Problems, they sound like they're going to be two things that could be worked into the show from as much running as we do with the new LFG on our 50s, and of course on our low levels that we're working on, our alts. I think that would be kind of fun. Give the listeners on, and at least our particular server, that being Prophecy of the Five, let them know who they can look forward to running with and who they should run the hell away from. And I think that will definitely be something I add to the show at some point. We do want to make sure and stop in and make sure we say hello and thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Audible. audibletrials.com/Sith Talk will get you a free 30 days of Audible, the Audible program. And if you decide to stick around for the full full program, it's $15 a month, one free book. I get a lot of traction out of it. I know Kevin, or White Sword, as we all know him, has gotten a lot of use out of that, and even Lanyard has as well. Not to mention the fact that if you do enjoy Audible and you stick around for an actual membership, it throws a little bit of coin into our purse, and we're able to provide you guys with more prizes and keep the podcast running smoothly. So moving beyond that, we've, of course, got our week, and Kevin, you've taken quite a hiatus, so we'll go ahead and start with you. How was your week?
First of all, I'm going to take this fucking mask off.
I was wondering how long you were going to wear that.
I was like, I'm just going to wear this whole fucking show, but nah, man. Just screw that.
Yeah.
So how was your week, Kev?
Yeah, I did take that time off, but then when 1.3 dropped, I just have been just off and on, just doing and looking for group. And I'm really glad that they finally did stick it in there. I mean, it's everything I wanted. I mean, I do have a little problem with it, but I'm just glad that it's in there. So, and that's what's keeping me going right now, playing, is just going and finally doing some of the instances that I didn't get to see before trying to get people in there is just no fun. Now I have this chance to just sit and looking for a group, run around Ilum, collecting nodes, waiting to get popped into queue, and just go in and out. And it gives me something to do besides just like, okay, roll another alt, which like I said, I've said before to you, is that's the thing that makes this game so great, is each alt is like playing the game over for the first time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what makes the game great with each new character, is like, hey, I just bought this new game. It's called Star Wars, and you get that.
Yeah,
because you can't choose.
It's kind of crazy. I've actually run into people where they literally just picked it up in the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they got it because you know, they're like everybody else, and like even some of us have been in times, is we're on the fence post. You know, the game looks intriguing, it's really interesting, but am I going to get to actually MMO? And you know, with the LFG and the condensing of the servers, I guess, Kev, you'd be the one that could tell us the most. Have you noticed a big difference as far as the amount of people and everybody you're running with?
I do like that they made the super servers. I think it is nice to log in and see, you know, I mean, there is the wait time, but, you know, that's what comes with having the super servers now. But once you get on, there's people everywhere. I mean, before I'd go to a planet when we were on Port Nowhere, there would be nobody out there on any server now, or on any planet. Now I go out there, there's good 15, 20 people on a different planet and stuff. And so it's nice to be out there and be like, oh, hey, people are looking to do things that you want to do too, and now you can do them. And why are you drinking from a Star Trek cup? Star Wars podcast.
I got my Star Trek cup and my World of Warcraft shirt. I'm set.
Oh my God, dude! You are two podcasts the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Well, Lanyard, we'll get back to Kevin and his impression of 1.3 in a little bit. How was your week? I know you've been busy with producing the video podcast and a few other things. What's going on?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did first 3 days of this week was working on that nightmare of getting the podcast up and running for our YouTube viewers, which, by the way, I hope you enjoyed because I put a lot of sweat into it. This week I didn't do any ops, which was actually kind of nice. It was kind of nice to get away from the ops for a bit, although now I'm missing it. And I ran a lot with Zuzu, which is my low-level Sork. My goal with her is to not have her leave fleet until she's level 50. I got her there at 11, and she's now 20. She just dinged 23 today. And I haven't left in 12 levels.
Are you tanking or healing on her?
No, I'm just doing DPS with her, which I'm thinking in order to level a little faster, I'm probably gonna have to go healing just to so I can pop those the looking for groups faster, because as DPS it's just like any other MMO with the looking for group. As DPS you sit and wait. However, in between those times, I've been doing. So I'll jump in looking for group, and then I'll go like you, Kevin. I'll go and other than doing planet stuff, though, I'll go do my space missions. I'll go do PvP back to back. I've been picking up the dailies for PvP, the dailies for space missions, the dailies for the looking for group. So yeah, that's all she's done. She has not touched foot on another planet since
that really sounds boring.
Actually, it's what it is. You know what it is? It's a goal of mine to say I'm not leaving.
Just sit here on the fleet and do nothing?
I'm not doing nothing. I'm doing back to.
But he's doing space missions and he's
And I don't work. And I don't work on her. I don't work on her all day. You know, I don't work. It's something I can just do for something else. And but that's my goal with her. You know, sometimes you got to set goals within the game. You know, and that's what I'm doing. So I've got. Anyway.
That just doesn't seem like a very fun game right there. I'm going to sit on the fleet and walk in circles because standing on it's got to get bored, so you're sitting on your flat.
No. I'm am I looking for group? I can in between my flashpoints, which take about 30 to 45 minutes after each one. So after I get done with one, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to get to another group because of DPS, low level, blah blah blah. Yeah. So in between that time, I can do back to back war zones. I can go out and do. Now that she's 23, she's got I think 8 dailies for space missions. I'm not bored. I'm.
Can I tell you? I don't think this is going to last long.
It might
I sit and vent with you, and you scream.
It might not. I scream. War zones are bad, dude. This war is. Oh, okay. So this war zone that I was just doing today. We had. It was fail. I was so fail. It was a 3 cap on Navarre Coast, and then the very next one was a 3 cap on Civil War. It was hard, and we got capped within the first minute of the battle. So it was like, and we never. It was terrible. But anyway, and then with Lanyard, I ran with Dat there, and did we did quite a few hard modes, which was great because as with Lanyard being a tank, I'm still a little nervous about being lead tank, so I wanted to go back and do some of those hard modes to kind of bolster my confidence and just basically know the fights. I mean, I don't want to go in there and go, okay, so what am I doing? Although I did do that once on one. I was like, hey guys, I've never been in here, so tell me if I'm going the wrong way, let me know, or if I'm doing it wrong, let me know. And everybody's like, okay, cool, no problem.
And I have noticed that for some of the ones I've been in that I haven't been, I was like, this is my first. Oh, it's fine, just follow us.
Yeah. Well, as DPS, it's not too bad, and of course as healer, you're just tagging along. You just and then if you don't know the boss fight, that's one of those things where you need to speak up. Hey, I don't know this boss fight. Yeah. But as a tank, they kind of look to you to lead the party down the path. So you know that's your job. You're out front. You're the meat. So that's. I
always do find that interesting that the tank has always been put into that role of you're the tank, so you should know all this and tell us what to do.
You should know all this stuff, right? Exactly. And
which really is a little unfair for them because maybe he just likes the tank, but knows what he needs to know. Doesn't need to know or doesn't want to know what other people need to know.
Right. So as you being that said, I mean that's why I always go. I'm a little timid about going into a pug, not only a pug but into a. Where'd you go? You disappeared.
I'm sorry.
You got all tiny all of a sudden.
Oh, now he's huge.
Now you're gigantic. Stop touching things.
Sorry.
That's like me. Unfortunately, I've got the recording screen area. I set it all up, got it all ready to go, and then realized my screen area is sitting right over the top of the patch notes and everything else that we're supposed to read. I can't even click on that. So.
Yeah.
So what did you do this week, Dat?
Well, I've actually, obviously we ran the flashpoints together.
Yeah.
And I did, I'd say a fair job explaining the fights as we were going.
I think so.
Although you did spend a fair amount of time, and see, you skipped over this, dirty little boy, you. Okay. You skipped over quite a bit of the freaking out you had with us skirting mobs in the runs. What the hell? Why can't we just fucking fight them? And I was like, dude, just relax. It's just making it quicker. You're like, I don't know why I got to do all this shit. Got to run around and we had to drag everyone half of them anyway.
It's so much easier just to fucking go the path. I mean, if there was stuff that's like, obviously you can just kind of jerk around here. But when you got to, okay, so if you climb up on this top branch and then jump over to this tent and then jump over here and then squeeze between these things and then climb up these rocks, we might get past that one mob.
Yeah.
But I ran quite a few flashpoints on my 50 Nagazolokia, because I'm working on getting her raid appropriate gear. I've had PvP gear on for a long time, and when running on Rakat this last week, I picked up a bunch of Kalumi. I've gotten I'm TNEsing the shit out of my Kennies, and I realized the massive jump in damage that I've had on Rakat, so I've been trying to devote the same energy towards Naga, and let her, so that she can get better with her heals and have all the gear that she needs.
I thought you were going to do her straight PvP though.
No, I've got the PvP set. I've got the PvP set for Naga, and then I'm going to get her PvE set. That way I can I can heal for the raid for the ops, or flashpoints as it currently is, and then I can PvP a little bit too. I would like to get her War Hero gear together. That's why I'm saving and holding on to her Battlemaster gear. Still haven't actually PvP'd on her since the patch dropped.
You still haven't PvP'd since the patch dropped?
Not a bit. Dude, as fast as the Q pops for my healer. Yes.
I think it's because you were upset that when you came back and you realized that I had all this fucking primo gear that you had to, now you're going with Rakat and getting better gear than me, you bastard.
My biggest thing with Rakat was the fact that I couldn't take a DPS in that didn't have the proper stats, it personally. And I wanted to be able to be a part of the raid as a DPS, not just a healer. Because they'll take a healer in BM gear, they're not going to be so happy about taking in a DPS. Not to mention the fact that I went with Arsenal, which, while having a very high amount of damage, is shit in PvP. Right. There is fucking no way you're playing Arsenal and getting anything, especially your tracer missiles, done anywhere except for bombing run. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck.
Right.
Don't even bother walking into NIP. But I was working on those two's gear, and then out of nowhere, I went, I've been doing dailies religiously. I haven't gotten into an op all week. I've been running flashpoints. And you and I have been working on our augments. And I realized that I was tired of paying for slicing items, and Rakat didn't have a third career. So I went ahead and got slicing on him and banged that up from 0 to 400 in 2 days.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. And that money was all
Are you
made
broke
by
now?
something in LG. No, still got a ton of money. I got like 300,000 on each one of my characters, except
Did you
for.
even out after all done with the slicing, or did you get? Do you think you got ahead just a little?
I think I got ahead. I averaged about for each group slicing mission, you lose a little bit of money when they go in for anything other than lock boxes, like when they're actually going for slicing parts.
Yeah.
But the little bit of money I made back selling the recipes on the auction house and selling oddball items that I didn't need for myself or one of my alts, I actually made a ton of money on a GTN. I made a ton of money throwing out lock boxes because it'll cost you like, I think something like 1,400 credits, something right around there. And occasionally you'll get one that's 1,100, but then you'll turn around and get two more that are 1,600.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not to mention, while I was doing my dailies, those fucking those boxes are ridiculous. The ancient boxes and shit you pick up.
Oh, yeah.
2,000 here, 2,000 there. It's been a boon for Rakat, to be honest.
Cool.
And then, of course, because of someone crying, we need tanks, because I'm sick of being the only tank.
I didn't say I was sick of being the only tank. I just, it'd be nice if, maybe I can't make it tonight.
Yeah. But I've been leveling Gazini, which as Kevin will remember being my priest name in World of Warcraft.
Troll priest.
Yep. I've got a new Gazini, just as oddball. It's a Mariluka Sith Juggernaut, and I've been having a blast. I took it from 12 to 17 in the last 2 days, and maybe 6 hours of gameplay. Almost all of it being flashpoints, because as soon as I queue up, fuck, I'm right in. And I was hesitant at first when I went in, so I was queuing as damage. And then I thought to myself, well, I've got all the, I've got a little bit of gear. I'll nurse it around here and there. And when I hit 13, I made a bunch of gear on Naga, got it to where it was at least blue level, and went in and started doing my thing. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Had a lot of great healers. I've had a lot of great people to play with, which pulls me into my LFG heroes for the week. Aethys, Karis, and Fawn Ray were in a group with me yesterday, and they were just the bomb. It was nice. It was an operative, I want to say it was either a pyrotech or a mercenary bounty hunter, and then the other one, of course, was a sword healer. And it was a great group. We actually did 2 runs on Hammer Station. We had a few, missteps here and there, but after we got done with the first run, got in the second run, ran smooth, and then I had to jet because I had to go to fucking work.
Right.
But it's been, LFG has been a boon for me, man. With running on the low level, when you're on your high level, you get a certain stigma to yourself, and you're like, oh man, fuck you. We got to know all these fights. You got to be able to do this and do that, know everything. And I was running with Pseudo and got pissed, lost my fucking mind. Which brings me to my weekly zero, Mr. Hughes. Hughes is a god awful tank. If you play on the Prophecy of the Five, if you see a guy, it's Hugus. Hughes. That's it. If you see him, either vote kick him or
Hugus.
Hug.
I do not agree with that. I think he's an awesome tank. I've taken him quite a few times.
By the way, Huggus? Huggus?
Hughs. Yes, Hughes.
Okay, HS. Okay.
Yeah. Have you seriously run with him?
No.
Okay. Because I know you lost your shit, man. This guy was terrible. Okay, so I ran with him.
Was it his first time?
No.
Was he 6?
I don't care. If you're 6, go and do something worldly.
Yeah, play something like Minecraft or something.
Hey, fuck.
I was going to say League of Legends, but...
Oh, well.
Minecraft is the best game ever.
But no, we got it. I was with him on Directive 7, and you remember I walked you through the last boss fight on Directive 7,
right.
And it went really smooth. I mean, we had some hiccups here and there, but it was relatively smooth. And was it a burp? Stifling
a cough. I wasn't going to cough.
Oh, okay. But we went into Directive 7. I gave him the orders. We need to work as a group. We need to take out the turrets, and I ran through the whole fight with him, and he kept screwing it up. And each time he was just like, oopsie, and LOL. Like it was funny because at $5,000 a repair, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
I thought this guy was like a low level tank.
No,
You're talking.
no, this is high. This is a 50.
Okay, well then I totally agree with you. He's a pump.
And then I was trying to get my Lost Island done for the week, and I got into this great group with these two dudes who were guildies. One was DPS and one was healer. And the DPS explained all the fights. It was really common sense once you read through what she said, and it made perfect sense. We get to the last boss in Lost Island, and at the last boss, you never want to just quit, And I went in there on Rakat, and we were just beasting it all the way through. We got the ads down. We're going back to the boss, and then
No.
fuckhead couldn't figure it out. We went through 8 wipes at about $6,000 a piece for me.
$6,000. That's not bad. Good thing you're wearing crap gear.
Oh,
that's where wearing crap gear comes in handy. Because
it's not crap. I've got Ricotta and fucking Kalomi. I'm almost and I've got fucking Black Hole on him. You don't even have Black Hole.
I don't need Black Hole. Every time I looked at Black Hole, I was like, everything I've got's better than what the Black Hole. I think there's like maybe the implant, maybe one implant I can replace, but and it's
the campaign gear.
I can replace my Kalomi with the Black Hole, or no, not Kalomi, the Battle Master. But other than that, everything else is I'll gain like maybe armor, but I lose like a shit ton of shield or something. There's too much of a trade-off for me to worry about that. So,
but before we move into the news segment, I did have one email this week from Joseph Hagen. Joseph says, "Hey guys, great podcast. Love the info that you give us, and you guys were right. BioWare, EA, LucasArts did overreact to the merge with many servers into one big one, in my opinion. My name is Joe Hagen in real life. In game, I'm Brutus Mattel in the Corellian Run server. Last night, I was trying to organize a pug group for killing the Belsavis world bosses, Primal Destroyer, and the chat box was working fine for getting the pugs. Then, about 15 minutes before we were all set, we were typing in chat to see if everyone was ready, and it didn't pop up instantly. I thought it was weird and thought it was mine. At the time, over vent, some guildies asked me if the chat was being laggy, and I said yeah. Let's see, it was the same around the board, from the PvP matches to even the imp side. My friend came to the pub side and still got messages from the imp side. The longest wait time he had seen was 10 minutes, and he's running the timestamp in the chat window.
Oh, wow.
The message was sent to the time he received it. He said it happened around 9 p.m., so can you check the forums for complainers about this? Most of us thought it was because so many people were using the chat box in different instances, flashpoints, operations, PvP. I wanted to know if you guys had experienced this at all on your server, or have heard of this happening on servers as well. I am also aware that this could be a Q&A. This could be a Q&A question for SWTOR, but you guys are cooler, and I'm sure they wouldn't answer it like they don't
Probably
answer
not.
questions or tweets from Datacar.
Yeah, they don't. They answer the silliest questions. Although this week's not too bad. No, I don't have a problem with the chat. Other than today, from noon Eastern till I think they're still doing it. They're doing the insert Jawa into a movie title thing.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was ridiculous. That was
I sat there and I ignored everybody that said Jawa, right?
Oh,
and it actually started getting a lot quieter on general chat. I mean, a lot.
Until you ran out of spaces.
All right, you can no longer add ignore. You can no longer, your ignore list is full, is what it would say. And the scroll bar on the side was this big. It was tiny. It was like itty bitty, where I could scroll. I probably ignored like 150, 200 people. I was just ignore. So now the problem is now I don't know if that's gonna screw up my getting together with a group because now I can't group with anybody. But we were having problems with. We keep seeing problems with lag spikes in like either in Ops or Warzone, where it gives you the impression that you lagged out, so you stop. And then everybody comes over event and says, "Oh, lag spike!" It all hits everybody at the same time. The downside is the server's still killing you.
Yeah.
So
I actually had some lag spike issues that caused a wipe on one of our Hammer Station runs today, and it literally would be like all the spells were casting, everything was going, and but nothing was moving.
Right,
and then it would pick right back up, and you were praying to God that the healer had gotten your heal in time.
Get the heal off. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I just Googled this chat thing since Google's so hard to use.
Yeah,
it is.
It's just Googling. So they said that it was a problem and that they restarted the servers to fix it a while ago, and that it should be fixed.
You think that was the rolling restart they had the other day out of nowhere?
Yes, that's what it says here. It says they were bringing the servers down for 12 minutes for maintenance.
Yeah, it was real short. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they did.
Well, cool.
They did the same thing
Google.
though.
I can't Google anything. I've got the screen over here. I've got it.
You got two screens, fucker.
Yeah. Okay. If I do this,
you got a 32-inch and a 19-inch monitor.
I can't do that. If I do that, I end up with stuff all over my screen.
That's what she said. But yeah, I mean. Lag has been an issue since the server condensation has went.
Yeah.
Code's died over there. That's what she said. But there's been lag spikes all over the game, and I mean we were joking around the other day when we were in Directive 7, you and I, and we were talking. We were asking the other guy while the dipshit who couldn't figure out how to follow orders was running back from his body, and I had said that we had thought that the sudden lag spikes in the runs were actually from the when another group joins that instance.
Oh, right.
That could be potential for why it's happening that way, as if they didn't expect to apparently have all those people in the run.
Have 200 people in the same instance.
Yeah.
Well, you would think they would prepare for stuff like that.
You would think.
Well, we would. Some might not.
Or at least they would catch it right away.
I mean, there might be a hiccup.
Yeah. But I mean, under the dev tracker, man, there's notes all over the place in regards to we're aware of lag issues. We're doing cross realm restarts, restarts all the way across the servers, which I presume is what happened when they went down for 2 hours earlier today, which was what the wife told me when I came home for lunch.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter that servers were going down.
Yeah. Be nice to get an in-game warning before the server just shuts the fuck down.
Nah. Just make everybody panic and try to relog in. It's kind of fun.
Give a little editing time here, and then we'll move into the news.
Here's your Galactic News. Look what you missed while you were sleeping.
All right, so we had patch notes this last week. Of course, more or less addendum items as opposed to full-blown content. Says here that as far as group finder options, of course, there's lots of things that needed to be updated and a little bit of patching done on those. Says group finder no longer will displays multiple travel now dialogues when the group searches for replacement while a player has the travel now dialogue window open.
That's helpful.
Let's see, categories that the player has not queued for no longer appear in the queue for tooltip. So I'm presuming that, of course, means that people who aren't queuing for different runs won't be saying that they're queued for those runs, which I don't care about. Group Finder is no longer visible when a player logs out of a high-level character and back into a low-level character, or character that's lower than 10. Therefore, unable to use the queue finder and just tantalizing you with absolutely nothing.
Who's finding these bugs?
I'm guessing alcoholics.
I mean, that's a good one to find. Ooh, I'll hop on a low level and then queue up for something I can't run.
Yeah, can't run. Right. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that oh, God. Let's see. Next one was a confirmation dialogue now informs players that they will need to start the content over again if they leave the find replacement queue, which I haven't figured out how to leave that queue yet.
Find replacement queue?
Yeah.
I haven't either. I've had I keep running into it. Maybe I'm just a dork and I don't know how to do it, which wouldn't be surprising actually. No. But I'll like with Zuzu, I'll be, I've queued for DPS only.
Right.
And then we lose somebody, and then everybody requeues, but they all put DPS. Well, they click DPS first, so it keeps saying change your ability.
Locks you out.
I don't want to change. I can't heal, so I have to whisper to somebody saying, "Hey, dude, you really need to heal because I'm not geared to heal. I don't have any healing in my healing tree." But I just sat there, and today I just said, let's just not touch it. I'm just gonna let that little thing say change your ability. I'll just let it sit there. Yeah. And a healer popped in, and it threw me to DPS, so it actually worked out. So I don't know, it's just kind of annoying. Anyways, where were we?
Let's see, Aethys, Mandalorian Raiders, the Red Reaper, Colocoid War game, Katamaru, Hammer Station can now be queued for even if the player has already has the associated mission. So apparently people were running up to the mission terminals and picking up the mission and queuing, and apparently it was causing an error with them. Presumably, I don't know why that would cause an error.
I don't either.
I mean, you get it automatically either way.
One thing I did find, though, is if you go, you know how they have the little droids around the station, and you pick it up and it says, okay, now go talk to Malgus, and then do this. If you pick it up from the droid first, and then if you do it the traditional way, you pick it up from the droid, go talk to the little computer and talk to Malgus on the little holocall, you get a little experience for that, right? You get very little experience for completing the mission. So that's a little extra little thing. So if you pick it up from the droid and then do your queue, you'll get a little extra at the end.
If you do all the ones from the droid, I remember somebody's talking about you get a title if you do all the missions from the droids.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I remember that if you pick them all up from the droids, that you'll get the title for that.
That's something I'll have to look into.
Let's see. Additionally, it says a tooltip on the Warzone join queue button now informs players they cannot queue for Warzone while eligible for Group Finder.
While engaged in a Group Finder content.
While engaged in a Group Finder
Which is bullshit, because I've been doing it all day.
Okay. It should be one or the other. I agree with that. You shouldn't be in both.
Well, I like the idea of being in both, so that way, whichever group gets filled first, but it should kick you out of the one that you didn't get into. So if I get if I get into a flashpoint, then it should kick me out of the war zone. If I get into a war zone, it should kick me out of the flashpoint. It doesn't either way, because I've been doing that all day. I'll be in a war zone and I'm praying that my flashpoint pops because this is fail. Because if you just quit the war zone, you get that little debuff. But if you just boost out and go in to do a flashpoint because it popped up, you don't get the debuff.
Oh, I'm not even touching that one.
Yeah.
All right.
That's so unfair to everybody else in the group because you. Oh, no, because all I do is hear you complain.
However, I think it does kick you out of the war zone once you get into a flashpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it kicks you. It's supposed to kick you out of one or the other once you accept the either. So, I mean, that's something I really think they should have. Is something I was complaining about was like I want it when you queue up, I want to be able to do one or the other. I don't mind being able to queue for both, but the idea of getting an easy exit from either one seemed kind of janky to me.
Yeah, it should throw you out of the one that you did not get into.
Well, and the thing too is, I mean, if you're leaving a flashpoint, that's only going to annoy more people to the point that when people start seeing your name with the stuff it's like, oh fuck that guy, he's in both, and we know he's in both.
Kick his ass.
He's always leaving in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I'm using it, but I don't think it should be there. Kind of like looking for group.
Let's see. It says there was and this bug I actually saw. I actually saw when I was running I want to say it was the non-heroic version of Black Talon the other day. We actually had a guy leave the group because he was lagging really bad, and we were having trouble requeuing because we tried to reinvite and tried to requeue and it didn't work. So I think there's still somewhat of an issue with it, but
At regular, you should just pull the droid out or your companion and just went with that.
That's what we did on Aethys.
Yeah.
Two sorts and Chem Ball. That's what when we did Aethys.
Yeah, I did that on Gazini. I pulled out the Twi'lek, whatever the hell her name is, and
that.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. If I can't be evil, I shouldn't have taken off the shot collar.
That is awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
That is awesome.
I'm gonna hug you in your sleep. If I die, I'm gonna butt fuck you with a lightsaber. Oh yeah, she's awesome.
Oh, nice lights. Walking in here, I get a headache.
Yeah.
I like her better. I like her better than Mako because Mako's so played out that's what everybody's like. Oh, Mako.
She's pretty worn out.
She's a fucking whore. Fuck her.
You know what? I got news for you. The best companion is Zalek. Zalek is awesome.
Who the hell's Zalek?
Zalek, you'll get on your Sork as when you get closer to 50. Yeah. Bone face.
That's who I was. I think I screwed myself.
Were you trying to marry her?
Yes. Marry him? Since I didn't want to marry the black guy. Which who I got AIDS from in the beginning.
Oh, the disease.
But I was trying to go with Boneface since they're not going to ever put in the lesbian stuff, so I can't get with my Jedi. So I was trying to go for Boneface, and it looks like I'm screwed. I'm never going to get married and have little Jedi kids.
No, maybe in 2.0.
Yeah. But it says group leaders can now queue for a replacement player if group leadership was transferred manually after the group member quit or was vote kicked. So, assuming that we transferred lead prior to the vote kick, or somebody quitting, you're like, hey man, I got to get the fuck out of here, pass this lead, then you'll actually be able to requeue. So that's definitely good.
That's helpful.
As far as items and economy goes, it says adaptive gear now correctly displays the adaptive in the tooltip, which is good. Not that it matters, but we all pretty much knew what adaptive gear was going to be available.
Orange.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as missions and NPCs, we got implemented optimizations that improve performance in Black Hole area of Corellia for many players. Presumably, they're talking about they helped the lag issue. Of course, they didn't install more boxes, which is a big complaint.
They ordered boxes
on those servers that nobody's on. Start using those.
Yeah. Let's see. Under the UI, it says deleting the sale price from an item placed on the GTN no longer gives the value of NEN, which I've seen numerous times.
Yeah. That was annoying.
That was weird.
God,
and the
only
worst
if I
part
had
was
like an auction house add-on.
But that was actually kind of annoying because occasionally I'd screw up and forget how to type in the price. Like I'd click on it and try to type in numbers and I couldn't figure it out.
And then you had to with that one you had to close the GTN and then open it again.
Yeah. So that's a plus that they didn't get the value as a nonsensical alpha item. But let's see. Oh shit! What did I hit? There we go.
Groups and targeting.
Yeah. Let's see. Groups and targeting. It says the healer icon is no longer incorrectly displayed on operation frames for groups that were not assembled by the group finder, which we didn't do any ops this week, so we wouldn't have even noticed.
Before that, it was sometimes I was noticing that it would show everybody as a healer. They'd all have the little green arrow on them, and now it actually has the shield, the little target, and the little green thing.
And the last but not least, the most important note of all.
Important.
The text that is missing from the character creation of Twi'lek Imperial agents in French and German clients has been added. Hallelujah.
Hey, those French people need to understand what they're going to be playing. You can't just dismiss it as it's nothing. It's important to them.
Oh,
I guess nobody cares.
No.
I don't care either.
All right.
My nephew's asking me if I want a drink, and I'm like, he's asking if we're done with the podcast. I'm like, no, not even close.
Not even close. What are we?
Well, and finally for our news segment, we've got the Q&A for this week.
Being attacked by a moth. Sorry.
Fantabulous. At least you weren't just having fits.
No, it's a fucking moth. It's like
this one.
My ass.
This guy was on last week's, wasn't he? Cell Cadro? What
are you looking at? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was That's after the last. Well, I'll be damned. They're going back to the well for another guy, for a guy who asked the same stupid shit last week. All right, fuck it. We'll go with it anyway. So Caldro says, if the Cathar are successful, what kinds of species...
Wait a minute, did we do this one already?
No, this is from the 6th. Today's the 9th.
Yeah.
That's what I told you. That's what blew my mind.
The first one they put on there is the first one. Just skip that one.
First one? Oh, you want to say fuck him?
Yeah.
All right, fuck you, Caldro.
He's already... It's even the same damn answer.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it sexy? All right, I'm going to go down to some of the shorter stuff. Let's see. Clementine says, are there any plans to buff companion tanks? Currently, they are barely any better at survivability than DPS companions, especially poor Zalek, and don't hold aggro very well. Well, I will argue that my Zalek holds aggro very well. He enjoys his full Taiwanese, partially Ricotta, partially Kalami set, and he kicks ass.
Kicks arse.
But Austin, your old buddy Austin Peckinpah, it says, I'll bring this issue, I like this answer, I'll bring up the issue to the rest of the team and see if increased survivability and threat is something we can afford to give them without me revisiting our goals for what tank companions should do. Off the top of my head, it certainly sounds like they could use some adjustments. Thanks for raising this issue.
You'll get an email later saying we're looking into it.
R67241.
Yeah.
Oh, that is an epic answer. I like that.
Oh, actually, I kind of like one of the answers up here that Alex Freed gave to this. What's his name? I got this thing in my way here. Kurtzelo, Lurtzello. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It says, Are the various stories ordered? Meaning, when does the storyline of each Republic planet takes place compared to the Imperial storyline and storylines of the other planets? I like Alex Freed. He's my type of guy. The short answer is the short unsatisfying answer is it depends. And then he goes into a lengthy thing, but I like this first answer, so we'll leave it at that. If you want to know the rest of the answer, the link will be at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes as usual. But I mean, let's see. Oh, I know there was another one I wanted to check on.
Speaking of news, don't forget about the SOTOR official podcast, episode 2. It's finally been released.
Yeah.
I just listened to that too, and it was actually good. I was talking to Dat before you got on about it, and it's actually something that was actually fairly interesting. A little out of date, considering they're talking about the soon coming 1.3 patch.
Why you didn't put it out then?
Maybe they're sending their stuff through a certain other channel, and it takes a while.
He has trouble updating their shit fast.
I mean, that's the biggest, dumbest thing. I mean, if you're going to be talking about content that's already out and people are playing,
it's talking about 1.3. They had the designers or the story writers for Ops and Flashpoints, and then they had the guy that was talking about the 1.3 legacy stuff. A little out of date, but still it had some really relevant information in it about, especially if you always wanted to know how they put together Ops. It was actually pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good show.
All right. Well, as you thumb through the remainder of the Q&A, I'm going to go off with one last one that I found that I liked. And for you, I think it would be relevant because it's part of the PvP deal.
I knew which one you were going to. I read that one.
Okay. Tiatsu said, would you guys consider adding root effects to the resolve bar? At the moment, 3 very well-coordinated gunslingers can perma-root someone, 5-second duration, 15-second cooldown, with war zones. That could mean a lot. Austin Peckinpah says resolve is meant to put a lid on effects that take control of away from you, the player. It's meant to limit the effectiveness of chain stuns, sleeps, knockbacks. However, it is not meant to impact the range and melee, kiting or anti-kiting balance in the game. This was very deliberate measure taken to separate these two different aspects of control I won't say that we won't limit the chainability of the root in the roots in the future, but given the amount of skills and abilities that break and cleanse roots and snares at the moment, it's not something we're concerned about. Of course, we will be keeping an eye on the ranked Warzone teams and use tools they have.
I just want to say that the resolve bar is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I have several. I think it's completely random because there's been plenty of times where I've been able to not only snag somebody that's got a full resolve bar, okay, pause them or shock them, and then there's been other times in the adverse they don't have any resolve, and I hit them and they keep running. At the same time, like today, he's talking about what class was he talking about? Gunslingers.
Yeah.
That is a well-coordinated, perfectly timed gunslingers can. Yeah, you get well-coordinated, perfectly timed anybody in a war zone, and you're fucking lucky. But you can get one operative, and he can stun lock you until it don't matter how much health you have, he'll stun lock you to death, and your resolve's maxed out. Doesn't do a damn thing. So I think that resolve bar needs either they need to really explain it truthfully, like the resolve bar is there to make you feel like you're invincible, but you're not, or they should just fix it, right, Kevin?
Oh.
I don't PvP, so I don't care.
Oh, you don't PvP. That's right, you don't PvP. You've been so quiet, I figured they were going to jump in.
The resolve bar is there, and it does occasionally make sense, and it does for me. Fuck you. I cleanse roots. I'm not the dipshit healer going, I'm just going to heal everybody. You just went over there. I'm not a retard. I actually know that I have a cleanse.
So do I. I can use it once.
Cleanses, and of course, sends them on their way. And I'm not just talking about a release from Stunlock.
Oh. Well, I don't have a cleanse.
Sorks have a heal. It's like some shitty heal. It's like maybe 300 or 400.
What does it do? Is it just remove the locks down? You being locked down?
Resolve. What?
See, I find it funny that you wouldn't really like this lanyard because I remember you complaining once about being locked down for minutes by multiple people.
Yep.
So this sounds like it's a good thing. So I don't see why you wouldn't like it.
No. The resolve bar doesn't work, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what Dad's talking about is an ability that he has that he can remove it.
Gotcha.
Which most players do. They have something to remove your being stuck, but you can use it once, and it's got like a 30-second cooldown or a minute cooldown.
That's in the event of an individual stun breaker.
Right.
Every class has their own their single stun breaker. The thing is, though, that the adjunct to that is that my sorcerer actually has a heal that is able to release rooting effects and movement impairing.
Oh,
so,
but that's up the healing tree, right?
Yeah. Well, it's part of it. But I'm saying if you had a Sork and like you have a healer in your group, they're going to have something that cleanses a stun 9 times, most of them. Okay.
I still don't think it would work against an operative.
I'm sure it'll work against somebody. It's just whether or not the healer's on you at that point.
Yeah.
You know. And that's one of the things I did was when I was healing when I heal war zones is I try to watch for people who get stun locked and try to release them as quick as I can because the heal itself had a real quick cooldown. It was something like maybe 10 seconds. So by the time you release the first stun, healed them real quick, you could go back and hit them again with it, and they'd be able to keep pursuing
that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I wonder if that'd be nice.
But as far as the resolve bar goes, yeah, it's fucking retarded. It doesn't work at all.
It doesn't work with shit.
I've tried stunning people that had absolutely no resolve in the bar.
They keep going.
And they keep on trucking. I've stunned people, and then adversely, I've stunned people that had a full reserve.
Right. It doesn't.
So
it doesn't.
I think it's a hit or miss situation, and if they're going to ask questions about it, fuck root.
Yeah.
It's only cool, like little roots come out and grab you and pull you down.
Yeah, or that would be cool. Like they come out of the ground and wait, wrong game.
It doesn't matter. I still think it'd be cooler.
But no, I mean
or electricity roots. What do you think about that?
Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah.
But the Sorks force slow, and I believe the Sages.
The heck was
What's
that? Somebody
That was
giving
pseudo-
birth over there?
Did you shut up? I'm trying to record a podcast, woman. I swear to God, if she's the reason I should move to a recording studio. But their force slow ability, actually, that's where the yellow evidence is at your feet when you get slowed by them, and it does have a slight effect to it, but it's not lightning. I think
it
that
would be kind of cool, a little lightning bolt.
look like lightning chains or something.
If it was like a bounty hunter or whatever, it shot out little webs or something like that, like a sticky grenade.
Is that
like
Spider-Man?
that.
Isn't that LOL?
Yeah.
Different game.
But I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, it was another fantastically slow news week this week.
Whoa! We have some really big news here. That's some bullshit.
What?
Oh, I gotta hear this shit.
Okay, so I'm on LordRepublic.com. I don't know the character transfer thing. If you transfer your character, you get a fucking pet or 25 black hole accommodations. What the fuck?
Wait, it's an or?
Oh no, it's and. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh. How you just gonna gloss over that? That's bullshit.
It's right.
Because
it's bullshit.
it doesn't happen till the end of the month, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I love that.
It's another
I love
pet.
that the line here is due to the sex. I can't speak English.
Successful.
Yes, that word. Free character transfer. Who was not going to transfer their character? It wasn't like, hey, we gave you this great option. Everybody was going to fucking do it.
What they're seeing is it said something about this on I think the Facebook page or somewhere, but they had said they were going to give these things away, and what they're trying to do is get the people to transfer that no longer play.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, trying to get them back in for that.
Right. Just so they can transfer their tune. They're worried about because when they if they close the servers down, it's a full wipe. You lose it.
But I think what's going to happen is that they'll just move everybody over. I've got 2 characters left over.
Or they'll force move. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got 2 characters on Port Nowhere. I'm assuming 2 things. One, they're going to just delete them, which I don't see them doing. I see people throwing a big hissy fit over that.
Not if they've given you so much time.
No, that's still a big thing. I mean,
we've given you 16 years to freaking move your damn. We've offered you.
You guys haven't played WoW.
Mounts, free levels, everything. I'm not moving.
You guys haven't played WoW forever, but if you guys load up for a mop and wouldn't you like to know that if they shut down some server, they moved your character over and it's still there? That would be kind of a disappointing. And
it would be, but it
just
wouldn't
in
be
any game that you put a lot of time and effort in. Just because I'm not tempted for a pet or free accommodations.
You're not tempted for a pet?
No, I'm not collecting pets in Star Wars. I did that in WoW. I'm still doing that in WoW. You know?
Well, here's the good news, Kevin. Even if you don't transfer your other tunes on Port Nowhere, you, yourself, Sovan, you still get the stuff because you transferred before the 30th of June.
I know. I'm just saying.
I think the people that kept their accounts active and fucking transferred sooner, they should get more.
Yeah, or the people that got misplaced or displaced by the 17 servers they crammed onto their one server. They should get a little extra too.
No,
but I mean, it's cool
to just be saying thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Here,
right.
We'll give you a pet. The accommodation things I think is a little fucked up.
I don't mind. I don't argue the pet. I don't argue the pet. The pet's vanity. It's relative only if you want a pet. But the accommodation, in my case, I'm running a lot of fucking ops. Or a lot of, I'm running a lot of flashpoints. I'm busting my ass to get gear. I'm doing dailies, and it's not that I feel entitled to getting those because I work for them. I think hard work should be rewarded. Saying, hey, since you were the last man on the fucking boat, we'll give you extra. That doesn't fucking happen. You get the stowaway seat, asshole.
Doesn't matter.
Hang off the back of the
matter.
It's weird how
they level 11.
It's weird how they're trying so hard to do everything to get the people back, but the people like us who've been paying since beta are still been paying. Even when I wasn't playing, I was still paying.
Yeah.
Are the ones that are just like, oh, okay, well, we don't really care about you because you guys are dumb suckers and you're still paying to play this game. We're trying to get all the other people back that have quit.
Dumb suckers are the people that pay for a lifetime subscription for a game that lasts 2 months.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Have you done that? I was going to say.
Oh, my God. Did you do that for STO?
No, not for STO. I learned the first time around.
Rift.
Not Rift. Rift is still going too, by the way, and they didn't offer lifetime. But
I thought they did.
No, they didn't. You could buy it in yearly blocks, but that's about it. No, it was another game that that didn't last. I don't even remember what the hell it was. It was some stupid game. It was years ago, before I even started playing WoW.
But,
it was like $30 for lifetime, so it wasn't.
Oh
a big
well.
deal. But still, it's like
that's not bad. But still, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a RTA, I think, or what do they call those? RTS type game. Yeah, it was really crap. I mean, it was before WoW, so I mean, it was pretty lame. Internet only. Didn't even have to download it.
Wow.
But I mean, I don't see giving the 25 comms. 25 comms is the equivalent of doing your weekly and your op, your hard mode op, your tier 2 op. That's a lot of black holes, black hole comms, and I don't see that being. For me, I don't see it being right. For the people coming into the game, I don't see that being a motivator. I really don't.
I don't see it as a motivator either. What is 25? If you just had the 25, what does 25 get you? Anything?
Nothing.
So if you've got 5 sitting in your box, then that gets you 1 item.
Yeah.
I think it's like a what is it? A fucking it's a earpiece or implant. Michael, kill your cat.
I hear pussy.
I don't kill animals, just so anybody listening.
Yeah. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's a good enough draw to bring people back in for 25 black hole things. The pet, he's kind of cool looking, but these aren't good enough things to get people back in.
I think, Leonard, you were saying that part of their podcast was that they were changing the way Nightmare and hard modes work.
Yeah.
And that I think for some of the people, black hole comms and pets speak to people who don't, more casual players.
Casuals.
The casuals who want to have gear enough to be able to be considered a real player. So I can see that being iffy, but that's getting the casual players back. And we have plenty of casual players peeling into the game daily.
Yeah.
We still have plenty of people that are coming in like, oh, dude, this is my first character.
We're still good.
It happened all day the last 2 days. Oh, well, I'm new to the server. Things like that.
Yeah,
even, with rerolls. I don't see that getting the hardcores back, the people who want the raid content or the operations content or the hard mode flashpoints content or want a real challenge from their dungeoning or operations or whatever individual games want to call them. To that end, Lanyard listened to the SWOTOR podcast from SWOTOR themselves, and they said they were actually updating the way they're programming for nightmare modes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to let you guys go ahead and run story mode. They're going to beef it up so that it's almost nightmare-ish on hard modes. And then when they release the nightmare version, it will be after they've seen what the strategies you've tried to imply on hard. So that more or less, you're fuck out of luck.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Because while I'm not a hardcore raider, Sassarin, which is a friend of me and Kevin's, and has been for quite a while, through our WoW days, at least the very end of the WoW days, Sassarin has always complained that the content, some content's just not hard enough. It needs to be harder. It needs to be intense. It needs to be 100% thrilling.
I disagree with that. I think it takes the fun out of it. I want to have fun when I play. I don't want to be running around accessing a computer, jumping out of flamethrowers, and then also having to jump hula hoops.
The story mode. That's why they have 3 modes, Kevin. Story mode is for the casual. I know.
I'm just saying.
For the casual player, which
is
why
making it harder and harder. It just is we're going to make super nightmare mode, and we're going to make super duper.
But you have to agree that the idea that the raiders who even at certain points in WoW, like I remember being called a wrath baby because supposedly I didn't understand fight
tank
mechanics.
And spank.
Right. Everything was tank and spank or run through an AOE. And the idea that
wasn't all of Wrath. Let's not Google Wrath.
You admit that's where it came from.
That's where it ended. That's where it ended at.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, a lot of people do look at it as for a hardcore player, it has to be 100% engaging and constantly challenging. And honestly, every fight is scripted, so it's not going to be super badass. But the idea that each time you come in, or when you traverse from one difficulty level to the next, that you have to change up the strategy for the fight, I think is something that would be behooving of
Makes the
the
fight
people
fre- it
that
makes
they
the fight
really
fresh.
want to get back.
See,
It makes the
I
fight
don't-
fresh, even though you're going into the same thing.
Yeah, I think just adding it, making it harder and harder doesn't seem to be do anything. You know, you look at like a lot of the fights with WoW. Like I remember, like in BC, like when people were working on Black Temple, it's like they would work on this section one week and work this one section one. Now it just seems like even with like complications, like we're gonna do hard mode. We'll just you don't have good enough gear. Come on, we'll AOE everything down. I think it just
we
doesn't
did
seem
try
to.
doing that, and it cost us a lot of wipes.
Yeah, just for some
4 hours and we never got through the first boss.
Yeah,
It just
And that was only on
seem to
hard
have
mode.
that like that longer like an operation doesn't seem to have a lasting length. Like people are just doing them all in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. It's just something about I don't know. It just seemed longer back in WoW than it does with some of the ones in SWTOR.
I think what they did with that was because I remember in WoW a lot of people were bitching that shit was too long. I mean, Wailing Caverns is too long. You can do that thing in
it's kind
20
of
minutes.
long.
Now you can do it in 3. You know, it's like so they shorten it up. So again, like I said last week, what a lot of these developers have a tendency to do is they tend to like what Dat was saying, you try to kill a fly with a sledgehammer. So they overdo it. So with WoW, what they did was they went, okay, it's a little too long for you, fine. How about we shorten it up a bit? So now all you got to do is walk in the front door, kill the boss. I'm being exaggerated, but you know,
it's pretty much what it is.
So with Star Wars, I think because there are some like there are some of those ops that when you first go into it,
KP's a long fucking
KP's
haul.
a long one. When you first go into it, it's super long because it takes you a couple days to get to the first boss and stuff.
Yeah.
But once you get it down, you know where to juke and miss this mob. You know where to go. There's a little secret passage. You can go this way. You can down the boss because you've done it a million times. So story mode you can go through in an hour, and be done. Hard mode takes you a little longer. Nightmare mode, guess what? The mechanics are completely different. So you have to learn it all over again. So that's where it makes it longer. Now, granted, if you've done a nightmare mode over and over and over again, you're going to be able to get through it pretty quick. So that's where they got to stay on top of the ops and keep giving us new ops. So to a point, I agree with you that it once it gets old or it gets mundane. But that's why they're doing the nightmare stuff. Now, when the other thing that this podcast said was on the new stuff that's coming out later on this year with the new planet and the new ops, what they're going to do is they're going to introduce story mode, and then they'll introduce shortly after, probably a couple weeks later, they'll introduce the hard mode. And I'm just guessing about how long. And then for a while, they're going to let people get through the hard mode, and then they'll introduce Nightmare, and they're going to introduce Nightmare only after watching people. So when you're doing these things on the PTR, Kevin,
it's a PTR. I don't know why you guys call it a PTR.
Because it's technically called the. I don't even know what it's called now. Anyways, don't get me off
Oh,
track.
way to fail. Oh, God, that was good language. Public test servers.
That's right. See, you guys are derailing my train.
Sorry. Choo on.
Oh, my God.
So they're watching you do the hard mode in the PTS, so that way when they introduce Nightmare, that your mechanics that you're used to won't work. So that way Nightmare is harder.
So the people who strictly run Nightmare are screwed until all the slackers catch up and start doing.
Well, I think the presumption is that they're going to give enough time for people to get a taste of the hard mode and not give them enough time to get it down pat, and then release hard modes when people start to figure out the basic mechanic of the boss. Yeah. So that instead of staying, you stand here.
Well, and if you listen to the podcast, the guy does it.
Which I will. I'm going to go add it to my subscription.
It's fairly good. It's actually really good, and he explains.
I didn't even know they had
well.
a SWTOR podcast. To tell you
episode 2.
They've only released 2 episodes.
Well, I didn't even know
the official SWTOR podcast, and So and then they have another guy that talks about the legacy shit, like it's going to be out next month or something. But we already know about the legacy. Yeah. I can't wait for 1.3. Let's move on.
Let's stretch beyond the news since we found so many extra things that I didn't even fucking think of.
Oh, well, I was even going to talk a little bit about the fact that for those people that are going to be at Comic-Con this upcoming weekend, next weekend, that SWTOR will be at the Comic-Con. Old Republic will be at the Comic-Con. They
Talk
are
about 1.3.
the new release of 1.3. No,
Hey, that's what they did at the PAX or whatever it was.
Yeah.
PAX. They talked about that. Yeah. Well, which they didn't give much information about anything new. Well, I'm just going to read what it has on their little site here. They've got Meet the Companions of Star Wars: The Old Republic panel on Sunday, July 15th at 11:45 a.m. Join us in room whatever. And you get to meet the Companions of Star Wars: The Old Republic panel. During the panel, BioWare team, as well as several notable voice actors from the game, will be answering questions from the audience, giving out swag. Yes, because I want to. Well, the only person I would want to meet
when you play Mako, do you
That's who I want to meet.
Well, presumably they're talking about the writers
Mako,
for the.
Because I know who it is.
For the companions. I don't know, but is it going to be the actual voiceover artist, or is it actually going to be the people who are writing these stories?
Oh, it says the BioWare team, as well as several notable voice actors from the game, will be answering questions from the audience. Now, the only notable voice actor that I know of, because I looked through the 300 and some voices, there's two people that I recognize. Now, there might be other people in TV shows and stuff that I've just never seen because I don't watch a lot of TV. But there's two people that I know of. Mako's voice. Is the younger girl? Well, she's not younger anymore. But remember Party of Five? Okay.
Yes, but I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Do you remember the movie remake of Lost in Space?
Yes.
Okay. The girl that played Penny. She's a lot older now. That's who does Mako's voice. And and I can't think of her name right now. But
okay, now I like Mako more.
But if you Google her,
is there any
she's hot.
pictures?
Yeah, you got to look up the girl's name. I can't remember her name. It's some French name. That's one, and the other voice actor that I do recognize the sound to, and it wouldn't surprise me, is the guy that the little short guy, the guy that played Willow, the guy that played the Ewok from the Star Wars film. Warwick. Anyways, his voice is in there. He's in. I recognize that. So the other thing it says here is that they're going to be picking out inside BioWare base will be holding a special Star Wars Old Republic Insider event on Thursday. These lucky few will be able to meet fellow fans, talk with members of Star Wars: The Old Republic team, take part in Q&A, get some awesome giveaways. So anyways, if you're going to be in Comic-Con in San Diego from the 11th through the 15th of July, SWTOR will be there.
Well, if you've got money, then I suggest you go.
I actually almost got tickets there, but you have to apply for tickets to go to Comic-Con way in advance. It's not like BlizzCon where you go, okay, mad rush. It's way in advance, like almost a year in advance for the stupid tickets. It's a pain in the ass. But if you got money and clout, you get to go.
Well, I've got no money and I've got dick for clout. So I guess I'm a screwed.
I'm a screwed. Are we going to do, what are we doing Pseudo's thing?
Hello everyone, this is Pseudo, your Galactic Librarian, with the continuation of Star Wars Lost Tribe of the Sith, Chapter 1. This time they did as told. He knew, tie it to self-preservation, and a Sith would do anything, even this bunch. Corson clawed at the chair, his eyes fixed on the forward viewport, and the shadows swiftly falling across it. A wet mass slapped against the hull. Its spindly form tumbled across the transparent steel, lingering an instant before disappearing. The commander blinked twice. It was there and gone, but it wasn't part of his ship. It had wings. Startled, Corson sprang from his seat and lurched toward the viewport. This time, the mistake was certifiably his. Already stressed before the mid-air collision, the transparent steel gave way. shards weeping from the ship like shining tears. A hush of departing air slammed Corson to the deck plating. Old Markham tumbled to one side, having lost hold of his station. Sirens sounded. How were they still working? But the tumult soon subsided. Without thinking, Corson breathed. Air! It's air! Devore regained his footing first, bracing against the wind. Their first luck. The viewport had mostly blown out, not in, and while the cabin had lost pressure, a drippy, salty wind was slowly replacing it. Unaided, Commander Corson fought his way back to his station. Thanks for the hand, brother. Just a reprieve, Gloyd said. They still couldn't see what was below. Corson had done a suicide plunge before, but that had been in a bomber when he'd known where the ground was. There was a ground. Once restrained, doubts flooded Corson's mind, and Devore responded. Enough, the crystal hunter barked, struggling against the swaying deck to reach his sibling's command chair. Let me at those controls. They're as dead for you as they are for me. We'll see about that. Devore reached for the armrest, only to be blocked by Corson's beefy wrist. The commander's teeth clenched. Don't do this. Not now. A baby screamed. Corson looked quizzically at Devore for a moment before turning to see Seela in the doorway, clutching a small crimson-wrapped bundle. The child wailed. Darker-skinned than either of them, Seela was an operative on Devore's mining team. Corson knew her simply as Devore's female. That was the nicest way to put it. He didn't know which role came first. Now the willowy figure looked haggard as she slumped against the doorway, her child bound tightly in the manner of their people, had worked a tiny arm free and was clawing at her scattered auburn hair. She seemed not to notice. Surprise! Was it annoyance? Crossed Devore's face. I sent you to the life pods. Corson flinched. The life pods were a non-starter, literally. They'd known that back in space when the first one snagged on its stubborn docking claw and exploded right in the ship's hull. He didn't know what had happened to the rest, but the ship had taken such damage to its spine that he figured the whole array was a probable loss. The cargo hold, she said, gasping as Devore reached her and grasped her arms. Near our quarters, Devore's eyes darted past her down the hallway. Devore, you can't go to the life pods. Shut up, Yaru. Stop it, she said. There's land. When Devore stared at her blankly, she exhaled and looked urgently toward the commander. Land! That's it for this week. Continue in next week for the continuation of Star Wars Lost Tribe of the Sith, Chapter 1.
Alright guys, well we're back from Pseudo's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that this week. And of course, great time to take a second and mention our sponsor, Green Geeks. Remember, if you use the code that I do not have in front of me because I'm an idiot. But if you click on our link on the Podomatic site, you can receive a bit off of your first year's hosting, and of course, it kicks a little bit back to the show. It's 30% off all the hosting if you use the code that I'm trying to pull up and pull out of my ass. But you know, guys, the Green Geeks is 100% green, so it's good for the environment. It's good for you. It's good for us. let's see, trying to open the code here. Not only are they 100% green energy, but they also have 99% uptimes and great prices starting out at only $4.99. And if you do want to use the code, you can go to their website and use GGS30 off and get $30 off your first year, 2-year, or 3-year shared web hosting contract. Really, as I did it.
Just to let you know that this is Lacey Chabray, who plays the voice of Mako. So I got Lacey Chabray, Mako. So that way you guys know who the hell we were talking about, you know. And I think those are real.
Oh Jesus, you're as useless as a flaccid penis. But you know, we've gotten a lot of time in now to check out looking for group. I actually went the extra bar because I told you I was going to level my Juggernaut strictly through flashpoints and questing. So I went and I bought everything but the top tier for the additional XP bump on those. Now you said you've been doing flashpoints and ops and flashpoints and war zones and space missions. Have you bought any of the XP bumps?
Yes, actually, I did buy the space missions, the war zones, flashpoints. So I bought all up to, well, I bought the first one of space missions just today, and then I bought the first tier, second tier of both the other two for Zuzu, and yeah, it's helped a lot, quite a bit actually. You do see the notice, like it's 10% I think for the first tier. So I mean, you end up with the space missions, you know, when you were shooting, each ship would be 7 experience points. Now it's like it's 8 or 8.5, 8 or 8 or 9.
So it's slightly more, but it's a noticeable.
But what I like about it is if you buy first tier and then second tier, it stacks, and then you buy third tier, it stacks, and then if you buy all the way up to 5 tiers, you get 30% extra experience points for each thing. So that's really handy. And then when I go to do her class quests, if I decide not to wait until 50. If I start doing her class quests, I'll go ahead and buy that too, because that's really nice. I like the way they set it up, because like Pseudo does and like I do when I'm running a re-rolling a new alt, I've done the planets, I've done all the side missions, so I want to just do my class quests so I can get as fast as I can. And so you throw down those, man, you throw down a couple hundred grand, and you can get through those pretty quick. So that means you can get your legacy even faster. If you're well, I guess you wouldn't, because you'd already have legacy.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you can. There's a lot of people that are playing right now, and I actually ran into one today, which is proof positive that some people just absolutely don't have any clue what's going on with the game, or just bought it and wanted to try it out. One guy asked me, he's like, "Dude, how'd you get your speeder already?" Because I think it was like 13 or something. Right. And I was driving around Black Talon out of my speeder.
Nice.
Like, dude, how'd you get that so soon?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, you know.
The only one that I think it's missing is for social, because I was talking to you about that. I was like, because I was looking at those, and I was like, you know, I might get those for my Juggernaut, leveling him up. But I was a little annoyed that there wasn't social, and I don't like that it's not universal. Like, if I buy that, I want it to be for any character I roll from that point on.
The reason they explained that again in that podcast, the reason why they did that was the first lockouts that we had before 1.3 dropped was universal, and it was the big one. It was the big ones. It was the it was the big ones. And then they wanted because people were wanting to individualize their gameplay. So, like for instance, with the experience points, some people do reroll, and then that tune specifically is for PvP. So it would make no sense to have.
Yeah, but
it wouldn't matter, because if they're not doing PvE, it wouldn't matter if it's there or not.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
As far as being able to purchase it as an unlock, the idea that having, say, you know, the social as an across the board item, so that no matter what character you played on, the social options were there. Yeah. Like I was talking about how I wanted to get the Voss social gear on Nakajalokia, and I can't get it on her yet because she's not social 5. and Rakat is social 5.
But you can't.
It would be nice if those social levels did stack.
Right.
Or for that matter, like Kevin's saying, if you could purchase the ability to get social level faster.
Right. Yeah, that's one I'm surprised they missed.
A 3% bump would get you booming.
That's one I'm surprised in fact, they could probably get rid of the exploration XP.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
And
but, if you get rid of that one and put in social boost, that would be nice. I mean, they do have the one for your companions,
right.
But the social boost would be a good idea, I think.
And I noticed that when I was on the PTR that when I was going through flashpoints for the few that I got in over there, get over it. It shot up real fast. Like I did like 2 black holes on or black talons on the BTR, and I was already halfway in the middle of 4. I have done a handful of the things, and I'm still 3.
Yeah,
right.
It's like it doesn't even go up.
Not near as much of a boost. Yeah.
And if you get into a like I can't remember which one I did. There was like maybe 2 conversations through the whole run.
Right.
And
that's another thing that they're going to address with the new flashpoints that are coming out in the future and the new ops that are coming out in the future is they're going to have more conversations in between, which is going to annoy people because it's spacebar, because they want to get through an op in like 30 seconds. But the other thing is on boss kills you're getting social points too. It's like 4
but
or 2 or 4, but it's still not a lot.
No, I mean, I was just surprised how much I have not gotten, but I got in the PTR. I mean, it just shot right up real quickly, but now on live, it's like, come on, man, this is taking for fucking ever. I mean, really, it's dumb because all I want is cosmetic looking gear, but you got to do more and more and more and more, and it just doesn't move up. That's why I was surprised there wasn't a legacy thing in there to do that. Maybe one of those should be. Because I did buy the one to increase my rep that I got from my companions, but I was surprised that there was nothing for social.
Right.
Like
well, the other thing would be nice.
Should be there.
The other thing would be nice though is if bound stuff would be able to be to each one of your own legacies. So like if you were to pick up. Let's say for instance, Stat, you take Rakat and you go buy the boss gear and then you can mail it to Naga, and she could, that would be nice.
That would be nice.
Or
it'd be nice
if
you did have a character.
Right. Well, exactly. Or you get. No, I scratched myself, and I keep thinking I'm bleeding all over the place. But I was at first I was thinking it'd be nice if if bound stuff would be passable too, would be mailable. Like so, if I've got picked up something in on a random roll in a dungeon that's I can't freaking use this, but hey, my other tune can use it in 20 levels or whatever, and I'd be able to mail it to him. But then you would have people starting needing on shit that they weren't supposed to do. So that I quickly just said, it's maybe not a good idea. Or maybe if they just introduced like what they did with WoW, they introduced the what was that BOA the Bind account
stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think it should be if you have one character that you did do that with, that you should be able to then buy some of the other stuff and being able to sit to
maybe
it.
If they
would be nice.
Maybe if they just make the social gear, a legacy. Well, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. It's like, yay, nay. I mean, the social gear would be nice if it's just the social gear. You know?
It just and that's the other thing. The social gear doesn't affect gameplay, so it's one of those things that it's just choosing how you want to look in the game.
How you want to look, exactly. And now that it's adaptive, it really doesn't change it because not that it changes it much anyway. I mean, it only adds a couple points to armor, but still.
I'll tell you another good one is I was on Alderaan, and the stuff there for the Jedi Knight looks really good on him. I put all that on. I was like, yeah, it's all gold and stuff.
On Alderaan yet.
Well, you better see it before it goes away.
Oh yeah. Better hurry up. A couple thousand years from now. Thanks, Leia. Way to go, Leia.
So just told them what the rebels were.
Right. Billions of people died because you wanted to save a handful of people you don't even know.
For the greater good.
Man.
We learned that in Harry Potter. The greater good is not good.
Yeah, right. Needs of the many. Needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
That's Star Trek. But yeah, I mean, the idea that social gear should, be available regardless, I think is important. I think that if they're really exploration, this is one of the few games I have to admit actually kind of screws you if you explore too much.
Yeah, you get stuck everywhere you go.
Well, not even the stuck. I mean, how many times have you explored a town and you've like I was on Tatooine and I was exploring here, there, and everywhere. And my biggest problem ended up being not that I couldn't get everywhere. It was either you went too far out into the desert and you got exhaustion and died. Or
and their exhaustion's fast, too. It's like, turn the fuck around.
Yeah, like the second it flashes, you need to start going to bat.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's other things like, what was it? I was on the Voss landing pad when you first get there, and I saw an opportunity for a really nice screenshot. And I was all excited. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to get to have the screenshot. And I stepped off one step further than I was. It was literally, I dropped down to the next rock, and it didn't warn me. There was no fall. I just reset. Yeah. And, I don't know. Exploration just, it seems to me as though it would be more of a waste because once you've explored, you're done. As opposed to missioning where your missions almost never end. Even when you get to the top end of the tier, at level 50, you still have more missions you're doing. So there's no reason that you wouldn't keep doing it. I want to get the most out of it, and with the alcoholism that I suffer from, I think that it would be nice to have the social. Because I would love to have someone that I just start and pick up some gear like that and just run them through the whole game. And it would behoove our peers.
And with the social, it would be nice that if you could buy it, like Leonard was saying, it then is sent to any character. If I decide to roll a Republican scum, that if I wanted to get some of their gear and then send it to my guy, and then have him run around look like a Artar, I mean, that would be my choice. If that's how I want to play it, look like a dumb Republican. But but that's the thing that I think that the game should be able to allow you to do. If I do buy it, then I should be able to send it to another character, like you're saying.
The one thing I was thinking with the adaptive gears, we've got like roughly 15 sets, right? But at every vendor, you can buy white gear. I would like to see them just, and I don't know what it'll take to make that happen, but I'd like to see the gear that they use there actually become, social. I would like to see that just because I think that would be cool. There's a lot of really nice gear there that doesn't work well or isn't any fun to wear because it's all white gear. If they made it social so that you could wear it, that would introduce easily 50 different uniforms.
Yeah.
Well, it's no different. What Kevin was saying. Switch if going over from Republic and buying their social gear and sending it to your Sith. That would be no different than like me running around with my Marillion on the pub side.
Or you can just run as a Sith on the Republic side.
Right, or vice versa. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Who's to say that he didn't steal that gear and then before he defected?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
RP burns.
Yeah.
RP rules, man.
I'm starting to like it a little bit.
I mean, to make the adaptive gear so that it was bind on account or bind a legacy would be nice. That way you could purchase it that way and there wouldn't be that big of a deal. I think that would make things a lot more interesting as far as dressing up your character
and more custom to the game. Because like, if I ever decide to play a Jedi Scum, I would want to be a dark Jedi, which is basically just a fucking Sith.
So why am I wearing white?
Right.
Yeah, I would, and that's like that conversation we had a long time ago, Dad, when we were doing the podcast, was that if I decide to go Jedi and be dark, that my aura changes with me, that it starts to do red or turns to a darker color. Yeah. So if I want to wear the Sith stuff on my Jedi, I should be able to do that. I think that would be kind of an interesting thing to throw in there for a socials type.
Well, that was it. Lanyard and I were discussing at one point the Republic Dancer's outfit is actually more sensuous than the Imperial Dancer's outfit, which made no sense. And we thought, man, it'd be really cool to just toss that over to our other characters. And I think the Lonnie might even still be wearing some of it.
Are we going to see this when they allow the character transfer? Are you going to be? I wonder if there's going to be a bug where you buy the stuff, pay to transfer, and now you have all that gear from the other side.
If they allow for factional
I'm going to do it just to see.
Maybe.
Shit, but I won't be able to send it to another character. God.
But, I mean, you know, and that's another thing, you know, since we've gotten onto the Super Server, have you played on your Republic characters?
No, I haven't. I hovered over him, or over her for a minute today. I was thinking about running Suiza today, but I decided to do Zuzu instead.
The only two I have is Hordak and the one on the PTR. Yeah.
Right.
I don't even.
Well, I still have the 4 characters on Fat Man that I never play.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm already on a super server. I know what it feels like to be back on a full server, which is
sucks
nice.
Too, because I really was starting to really enjoy running with a Toon Nun.
Yeah.
But I kept him in the hopes that someday they give us the free reign to move our characters wherever the hell we want.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love how they called it the free character transfer was such a success. It's not a success because you only allowed us to go to certain things. If you allowed us to take all of our characters and then move them to where we want to, then it's a success. No, it's you're gated to this, and that's where you got to go.
I think the original idea was that if they did that, then that would
people would spread out more.
It wouldn't have helped any. So I think what they did was they knocked it down. My biggest issue was the fact that they just put way too many people on one server. But we talked about that last week. Was just they should have stopped. They should have stopped at a certain level to where they can add noobs to the server without having issues on a Saturday during busy hours. I'm not waiting 45 minutes to get on. Mm-hmm. But the thing is now they've got everybody in what 20 total servers.
I thought it was like
I think it's 25.
25 including
25
including okay. So now once everybody gets moved and they say, okay, we're shutting down this server, they'll leave a couple open for maybe overflow. I don't know. But I really want to get all my characters, including the ones on Fat Man, including the ones on the Bastion, onto one server, and then I'll be fine. Because I want to keep those other characters. I worked with them. I liked what I got set up on them, and I just want them all. I want them all on my one server.
Yeah. What it make?
And I'd like to see some of my pubs come over to the Prophecy of the Five, but they're stuck on Fat Man. But I don't know. All in all, I have to say that right now, especially now that I'm running on one of my low levels, I think that looking for group and the server condensation has actually helped elevate the game for me, just so that I can be able to run more things. Obviously, I've been running more flashpoints than I have been PvP matches, so I'm enjoying that. The randomness of some of the troll issues that end up going through chat is plus or minus. The 30 minutes of add a Jawa
30 minutes?
Here,
dude, it was like 4 hours.
I only had to.
So basically, add a Jawa replaced.
Remember, or the Murloc.
Yeah.
It was the Murloc thing, the Murloc movie thing, and WoW. Remember, people would sit there and do Return of the Murloc, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Murloc. That stupid shit. They're doing the same thing with Jawa. And even somebody had said that. Oh, great! All the stupid shit from WoW is coming over here now.
It's an MMO. Board players will do that.
And then once it starts going,
why all those guys who were who starts this shit? I'll tell you, You start this shit, Lanyard, because you're sitting in the fucking fleet. I'm gonna level up a character. I'm never gonna leave fleet. I am so bored. What can I do? Hey, I'll start a whole movie thread.
Speaking of being on the fleet, I have noticed. Now I don't know if it's just me, but I have noticed that on Party of the Five.
We're talking about Party of Five, and now you're gonna.
Now I've got stuck. Yeah, Prophecy of the Five. And when my Lanyard, he's set up, in all blue. He's got my gear, and I kept getting compliments on this shit. when I first got it, you know, and it's just Black Talon gear, right? But I just happen to like it, and people, oh, dude, your gear's nice, blah, blah, blah. I have seen more motherfuckers running around in blue and white now, all dressed up with the Black Talon chest piece, and not just the people that should be wearing it, the level 13s and 14s, but I've seen level 50s fucking wearing it. I'm like, okay, so, but they all have different helmets, which is good. At least they don't have my helmet. I don't, but yeah, it's so what I'm wanting to do is I want all the people on Prophecy of the Five that are wearing my blue and white Black Talon gear. My. Nobody was wearing this shit.
Okay,
other than
when does it not become your... So, once they've gotten past the point of Black Talon,
and
they then have to remove it?
They have to remove it.
Okay, so, but before then, it's okay.
Yeah. You can wear it at Black Talon
so
because
once the option gives them Hammer Station...
They can wear that ugly yellow Mandalorian crap. Looks like somebody pissed all over their uniform. And then they move on and wear the ricotta with the table legs sticking out of their back. Anyways, all you people wearing the Black Talon stuff that I know that you guys are just, you know, you're looking up, you're like, dude, that guy's got some hot looking gear. I want to be like him. I want everybody on one of these days. I want all to get together on like Tatooine or something. I want to have all the Black Talon wearing blue and white people. I want to set up for a nice little screenshot. I think that would be cool as fuck. You watch now. You look when you get on the fleet. You'll see him running around. Oh, there goes Lanyard. Oh, that's not him. Oh, there goes. Oh, that's not him.
Unlike you, I don't spend time on the fleet.
I know you. I don't know what the hell you do. You spent. You spend.
I'm playing fucking Star Wars. I want to look at the game and stand and fucking. Oh my god! Look at those guns go off. Oh shit! I'm dead.
You wanted me to test off looking for group. I'm doing looking for group. Oh yeah, you're out exploring. Yeah, you're looking at all the cool stuff. I've seen all that shit though because you see, me and Dat we play longer than you did.
It doesn't matter. It's because I just got bored. But I saw all that stuff. I've been in since the beta. I mean, I even knowing going to like Drummond Cost, I still love Drummond Cost. I love just like the shadow and like everything about. Well, yeah, it's just all shitty.
It just rains all the damn time.
All the weirdos walking around Portland.
Yeah.
There's no Occupy the Capitol.
Oh, that would be great.
I still think we should have did Occupy Fat Man. I think that would have been a great. I think that would have been a great guild name.
Yeah, well, you're the asshole who said it. I don't like guild names more than one word.
Usually don't. I mean, I like just the statement, you know, the one word. But I thought Occupy Fat Man would have been great because I knew we weren't going to stay there forever.
No.
And we could just all sit out in front of the bank.
All in all, I think I've indulged myself in the personal legacy items. As I said, Gazini's got, you know, the 2 perks that I intend on leveling him through, on top of the fact that he's already got his riding. Having rolled slicing on Rakat gives me the option to do cyber tech on one of my alts, which I haven't done
get that
yet.
leveled up. I need a sensor unit for my droid.
Yeah, shove a sensor unit. Oh, Jesus. But, I mean, all in all, I want to say that 1.3, at least on my half, the kinks are pretty much worked out on LFG, barring, of course, minute ones that I haven't noticed, and I'm sure somebody will eventually. It's given me the ability to go and see the content that when we were on our dead servers I couldn't get to, and even when we got to the super server, you know, not a lot of people were able to jump into groups. No one was really looking. And the one thing I will have to say, and there's a bunch of, I'm going to say counterculturist. Since we've had 1.3 in the looking for group launch, there are still ass tons of morons looking for group in chat.
I don't get that. I see it. I'm just like, what? It's like people looking for guilds and WoW. They put the goddamn looking for guild thing there. Stop spamming it.
Right. And or they'll be, you know, trying to put together a group, and you can do it if it behooves you, but for the story modes, as opposed to just queuing for story modes and getting on with it, and letting the system do what it's made to do. They're still relying on looking for group in chat, which I find really fucking annoying.
It's really interesting. Guild Wars, the first Guild Wars, had a system that if you typed in the words the looking for, it would actually move that chat out of the main chat into a looking for group chat. So people who are in that channel could see that. It'd be kind of interesting if they did something like that. So we wouldn't see the constant looking for a group for such and such when you could just use the system that everybody wanted. Stop spamming fucking trade chat with your looking for something and just use it. It's like I said, if you're going to do a story mode and you only need 2 more people, just fucking hit the story mode and then grab 2 random people.
Yeah, because you can queue the entire group for the story mode and just wait for the last 2 to jump in. I was on Corellia the other day and everyone's going, looking for group for Torvix, looking for group for Torvix. And one guy finally piped up and he goes, I challenge all of you assholes who are looking for a group to actually jump in queue and let's do this.
Yeah.
The only downside to that is with Torvix not being an actual hard mode, it's just a daily or a weekly in some cases. I've done it with 3 DPS and a healer, or 2 DPS and companion. So
the problem is with planet stuff, it doesn't ever pop. Nobody gets in. Nobody gets into.
I think that's different though.
And the reason why they don't do it on the planet is because they're on the planet. It's easier just to say, "Hey, I'm doing this 4-man heroic. Who I need some more people," and they're there.
Okay, so I think that's totally different than spamming trade chat.
With the trade chat, what I've noticed, I don't see a lot of people just saying, "Looking for 2 more for X." I see what I see is they're looking for a specific class, specific. So like. Because there are some that we've got 2 melees, a healer, and a tank, but we really need range. If you just put it in for jump, they pop in and they get a melee. Well, we can't fucking do this battle because we need range. So they're doing that. And then the hard mode stuff, they're looking for specific people for amount of damage. They're looking for the elitists. You can't put that in a pug group. So you're still looking for pug, but you're looking for a specific type of pug.
Okay, but I think that's just different. I think if you're saying we need a sorcerer for a certain fight, that's fine. I think that's fine.
And I've seen a lot of that. That's what I've been seeing. I don't see as much just looking for random Joe. I don't see that as much. Of course, I because of where you said that they had a looking for group channel, or they have a guild channel, looking for guild channel in WoW, which was never used. They need to have a troll channel.
Yeah, it's called trade chat.
It's called general chat. Yeah, well, they don't even use trade chat in this game. It's just in WoW it was the.
Wait, there's a trade.
Yeah,
channel?
there's a trade channel in this game. Oh yeah, there's even a what's it called?
I've seen
battle,
the PvP
PvP
channel.
channel.
PvP is /2.
Yeah. But there's a trade. There is actually a trade channel, but everybody just uses general chat. I myself created my own channel to watch only what I want to watch.
I really don't pay attention to chat.
Since I try to turn it off. I like the way of it.
Is it different chat between each when you're on the fleet? If you're in
it's all the same.
I wasn't sure. Like I said, I haven't really been paying attention to it since the one thing I did like about the Port Nowhere was that it was small enough that when I saw names, I'd be like, oh, that's Bubble Bub. Listen to him, what he's got to say. Here, it's just so fast that I zone it out. I don't even pay attention to it.
I turn it off most of the time unless I need it open for a specific reason. I do like making my own channels. I just wish that I could get rid of, because every time, like if I close out general, I open up just my ops. I have a channel for just the guild, so if I just want to listen to what the guild's saying, I have an ops channel that I made for ops parties and PvP. So I've got those 3. So that's just that specific crap. And I leave them on that because if I'm in Fleet and I don't want to listen to Fleet, I've got that open, but I can still see when a guildie says something, or because it doesn't make a noise, it doesn't tell you anything unless you get a whisper. But the thing that pisses me off is it defaults back to general, and you cannot turn general off by itself. So unless you ignore 300 or 1,200 people on Fleet.
Well, you can. Someone said you can do /1 leave, and you'll actually leave that channel.
If you come back from a flashpoint, or you come back from a war zone, or you transfer, you come off the elevator, it comes right back.
So it does make sense to make the tab, so you can just.
Yep. But the tab. But the thing is it even defaults back to general tab, so you just have to.
Well, that's fine because then you can just hit a tab and go back.
Yeah. I've tried getting rid of the tab. I've tried moving my ops to the first position, which
you make the font super small so then you don't see it.
It's as small as it gets and I've got it at 8 on my 45, which is tiny.
Well, guys, we're running a little bit longer than usual, but before we go, what do you think? 1.3, we're going to call it a success, a near success, a miss?
I think it's a
It's a good start.
I think it's a good set. I think it's a very, very good start, in my opinion. It's not as buggy as I expected it to be. Looking for group works fine if you're level 50. It's just what I expected at lower levels. And the PvP, I haven't really noticed anything different in PvP. The fence isn't as long as I thought it was. I think that they did shorten it because there's a hole a little closer to the wall. Legacy stuff's kind of fun. It's cool. I bought the robot today, the repair bot for Zuzu today. So that's handy. So I think it's a success. Bring on 1.4.
I think it's a good start. I as of right now, my subscription is I'm waiting for it to end, so I've canceled. I'm just playing until my subscription ends. Is it enough to get me back? Yes. I mean, it is enough for me to resub and continue playing. But I think it's going to get to a point where it's just going to be like, I want more stuff, which is fine. I think we are getting to a point where they are adding the new planet and they're going to add all that new stuff. So I think that's going to be good. I really do like the looking for group. I do wish with the social stuff not the social stuff, but with the legacy stuff, there was a way to increase my social gathering. But everything else so far, I like it. I do like what's going on, and it is good that they finally, I don't want to say gave in, but put in the looking for group, because as much as me and you, Dat and Lanyard argued about this, and you guys are using it, I think it's a great system. Does it have problems? Yes. Do people queue as healers when they're DPS? Yes. And then do they refuse to leave? Yes.
Yes.
But overall, it's not bad. I mean, that's what comes with it.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, obviously, I find LFG to be awesome. The Super Server is great. And with my obvious purchases of the legacy abilities, per character perks, I can't argue. It's been fun. It's been really interesting. I've gotten into a lot more groups. It's enticed me to roll my alts and be able to do so in content I wasn't regularly in. So overall, I think it's a great building block. I look forward to seeing what they will drop in additional content. Because I did have one person who said, "Oh, there's just not enough content in the game," and I said, "What game are you fucking playing?"
Those idiots never leave fleet.
Those are the assholes that just sit
Wait,
there.
you're that idiot.
To say that there's not enough content in this game is ridiculous.
There's so much shit to do. It's.
Well, guys, obviously we had a really nice long episode with the return of Kev, or White Sword, as some of you may know. We do want to thank him for coming back, and as those who will be able to see our video. You can tell we're using Uvu, which is yet another one of our great sponsors. Uvu is completely free to any user. Just go to the Podomatic site, click on the link, and register your account, and you can utilize it for calling up to 12 people for absolutely nothing, or you can pay a little bit more and be able to use it like Skype, call people on cell phones, or run it without the banner ads, which we don't seem to have a problem with. So, as Kevin dons his fantabulous mask,
Sith apprentice.
we'd like to thank you guys again for joining us this week on Sith Talk, and we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dadakar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Sith Talk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/Sith Talk. And of course, our Gmail is sithtalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.